What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. A Lions Talk Live, and guess what day it is? It is the official start of NFL free agency. Yes, the tampering period. For 48 hours, you can talk to guys about signing guys. I guess you just can't officially sign that guy until after those 48 hours are gone. Whatever it may be, we're going to get a ton of news, information, breaking news. You can probably plan on hearing stuff all day long, all week long, that you're going to want to set your notifications to hear. Somebody's signing somewhere, somebody's going to go somewhere, and how active the Detroit Lions are going to be in free agency. I guess that's the $1 million question right now. Maybe we should say the $1 billion question with inflation nowadays. Whatever it is, though, I think we're all expecting some moves out of Detroit. We might have been thinking, I know a lot of you thought we wouldn't be very active in free agency coming to this year just because of how the team was structured. But then, as you all know, yesterday, Za'Darious Smith was let go. We'll get into that during the 5 headlines now and the main topic of the day and all that stuff because they're all kind of integrated together. But I think with yesterday's move, we can anticipate the Detroit Lions are going to make some sort of moves this offseason. We're going to have to wait and see what they are. Real quick, before we get into the main topic, the 5 headlines now, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Making that march for 13,400 subs, and we're roughly 82 subs away, so if you can help out with that, that surely would be great. Also, if you have a half second at a time, it is free of charge. Reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, that like button, hit all the buttons. We try to get every episode of the show to between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Heck, if we can get to 10,000 likes, that would be awesome too. So if you can help out, please consider doing so. Last but never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, give me a call or shoot me a text. You now see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. I've been in the industry over 30 years, so if you're looking for someone to help you out, save you some time, save you some money, go ahead and give me a call, and we'll get rocking and rolling on doing just that for you. All right, with all that said, done, out of the way, let's get this show rolling, rocking, going, and into 5 headlines now. And yes, before I know some of you guys noticed in the comment section that the hairdo of faith has been a little bit savaged yesterday. I promised the team last week when we got into the playoffs, if they won the district, so that's game number 3 of the playoffs, that they could shave my head. Yes, with a 4-guard. Let's just say they're not all barbers. So after the show today, I'll be going to a barbershop to try to get it trimmed up a little bit more properly before our big game tonight. Man, there's no time off in the offseason. All right, 5 headlines now. Let's get into it and go to the top of the screen, and here we go. Lions finally come to Za'Darius Smith realization. Packers fans could have told them. This is from Fan Side, story by Freddie Boston. I'm not going to spend all day on this just because we kind of beat it up yesterday with the breaking news. You wanted to know why the Lions moved on from him. It appears it's multifaceted. Let's start with the first part. First part is there are multiple different reports that say if he would have been on the roster past June 1st, that he would have been due some bonuses. There are some other performance aspects to his contract. Everything's done, said at the end of the day. It sounds like if the Lions would have kept him, they could have been on the hook for somewhere between 10 and 12 million this season for him. And no disrespect to Za'Darius Smith. I think he's a great guy. I think he could potentially be back with the Detroit Lions at some point, assuming somebody else doesn't, sign him. The move immediately frees up $5.78 million for next year. So we'll just say $6 million. So that's a bit of a savings. The other part is it sounds like the Lions representation was less than excited about his run defense, especially down the stretch last year. They felt he wore down quite a bit. And again, in the playoff game, he was almost non-existent. We're not going to get into a full breakdown on him, but if you want to know why the Lions moved on, it does seem like those are all contributing factors. In the playoff game against Washington Commanders, not that it, Pro Football Focus should be a one-all, mean-all or anything, but the Smith's grade for that game was 27.9 against the run. So if you ran at him, you are probably going off for yards. Well, I guess maybe that's a polite way of putting it. I like Za'Darius. Like we've talked about on the show, I really thought he could be a starter or a rotational guy for us. And for 1 year, probably not a bad move. Will they bring him back? I guess time will have to tell us all in this next coming week or maybe two. If he doesn't get signed by somebody in the first 72 hours, I think there's a stronger and stronger possibility he returns to the Detroit Lions. All right, contract details for Marcus Davenport show quite a bargain deal for the Lions veteran edge. Story by Russell Brown of Lions Wire. Hey, we are all talking about it for the last, 2 or 3 days. Why the heck do you bring this guy back? Oh my gosh, he's getting, $4.75 million or whatever the number was. But when he got the actual contract terms, I want to thank my brother Tim. I want to thank Hutch Jr. and 50 other people who sent this over to me yesterday. I wanted to save it for the morning show. But if you look at his terms, it's really not a bad deal. For Davenport, he will get $1.65 million guaranteed. And in addition to that, his salary will be $1.35 million with a $300,000 signing bonus. That brings his cap hit to $1.65 million with a ton of opportunities for him to earn more money. So we've been talking about it for the last day or two. It was my guess or assumption, I should say, that he was going to have mostly an incentive-laden contract. So you stay healthy, you stay active, you hit certain milestones, you get more money. We know that under $5 million for an effective NFL pass rusher really is not much nowadays. So if you're getting someone who could potentially, if they stay healthy, under $2 million for all that, yeah, that's a pretty good deal. Shown in the contract breakdown, Davenport can also earn $50,000 per game just to be active for each roster, each game day roster. For example, he played 2 games last season, so he'd be playing under his new contract during that time. He would have made $100,000. Now, I get to everybody on planet Earth, or most people on planet Earth, $100,000 is a lot. For an NFL player, that's not much. Lions 1 year breakdown, $3.65 million total for Marcus Davenport, $1.65 million guaranteed, $300,000 signing bonus, $1.35 guaranteed. Part of that, also $50K per game active roster bonus, $2 million sack incentives plus playing time. So they don't get the full disclosures on how many sacks he needs to get, nor how many snap counts, but you get it. The Lions probably got a pretty good deal on Davenport. There's a lot of upsides to the kid. If you go back and watch him play last year or even the season before that and before that, guy's got some abilities. We just all know the one ability he doesn't seem to have is availability. All right, moving on to the next one. Detroit Lions may focus on defense lineman, right guard, cornerback, and free agency. This comes from CBS Sports Detroit. Nick Lentz with this one. Hey, probably not a big brain, any kind of breaking news here that the Lions may go after these areas of need for the team. We get it. Levi Onwuzurike may be out of town. Marcus Davenport is back in town, but Za'Darius Smith is gone. Pat O'Connor, I hope they bring him back. I'm going to guess most of us do want him back. It's just whether or not he will come back. That's the big question. So the Lions are probably going to target these 3 particular areas. If you want to check out the full story on CBS News, go for it. They give some ideas on who the Lions might go after. I'm not going to break down everybody in there because there are so many of them. Just on the defensive line alone, they've got about 8 different possibilities. In the, linebacker area or edge area, you got another 8. There's a whole lot of them. One of the areas we're all going to be paying attention to this week is if Kevin Zeitler returns. We've talked about this ad nauseum this offseason. I hope he does. I thought he was just a massive signing win for the team last year, especially at his price tag. If they can keep him, I will be dang happy, and especially if they can keep CD3. Whether or not that's going to happen, man, I don't know. It sounds more and more like you have a bunch of teams allegedly going to offer Carlton Davis the bag of money that he's probably not getting in Detroit. We'll see if he just wants to be here or if he wants to get the money. We'll find out this week. But check out the story. I think it's a good read. If you guys got nothing really going on today before noon, you'll get some good inside information, I should say. All right. Speaking of inside information, Haason Reddick listed as, quote, good fit for the Detroit Lions, SI.com. John Macron, who covers the Lions at a full-time professional level. I'm sure most of you guys have seen him, read his work, seen him on different, shows, channels, etc. He has a thought that Haason Reddick and the Lions could be a part of why they let Za'Darius Smith go. Like I said earlier during the Za'Darius Smith breakdown, you're going to save roughly $6 million by releasing Smith. Could you be using that money to sign somebody else? When we did the breaking news story yesterday, that seemed to be the prevailing wisdom across Lions fans and content creators, whoever you want to call it. Lions are probably going to make a move for someone. That's what everybody thought. Could it be Reddick? Well, let's analyze the situation. If Davenport, at least as of right now, is going to be that starting edge opposite Hutch, then you have to think the Lions are looking at putting Reddick, if Davenport's going to be the edge opposite Hutch, then you'd have to put Reddick somewhere if you're going to sign him. Is he going to go in for Derek Barnes? Probably not. You just signed him. Is he going to replace Jack Campbell? I'm thinking no. Is he going to replace, Alex Anzalone? I would think not. So where do you put him? Unless you're just going to say we're going to sign him, put him at the edge opposite Hutch, and then use Davenport as a rotational piece. If that's the situation, I wouldn't be mad about it. Reddick might not be great against the run, but he is pretty good at getting to the quarterback. Can you kind of hide some of his deficiencies in the run game? I guess from a schematic standpoint, I would think that's possible. Now, anybody who's watched this show for a season or two knows that I actually thought Lions should start James Houston, because what does he do? He gets to the quarterback. Is he great against the run? No, he is not. Not by any stretch. And Reddick's probably better at stopping the run than James Houston ever was. But I do think you would have to, from a schematic standpoint, have to handle a lot of the same things. You would have to shift a backer high side over him to try to help mask his deficiencies there. Whether or not Kelvin Shepard or somebody else is willing to do that, I don't know. I like Reddick. He is a little bit older. He does get to the quarterback. I think there's probably some better overall fits and at a cheaper price for the Detroit Lions going into the offseason. All right, with all that said, done out of the way, let's go ahead and get over to the main topic today. This show may not be a full hour today, guys. I think I've already mentioned it today. The team I coach, we have yet another playoff game. This is round 4 of the playoffs. And so we're in the final, whatever it is, I think 32. We win today. We're in the Sweet 16. And it's going to be a jam-packed day between a final walkthrough, me having to get the hair fixed, and then actually going to the game. So I'll get through as much as I can today. So let's real quickly get over to main topic of the day. I always do like that kind of little beat that goes with the main topic of the day thing. All right, so we're going to break down for you guys some stuff in free agency. Final Detroit Lions free agency predictions, some stuff that Brad Holmes, if he's going to make a splash, this is probably what we're coming with. All right, well, number one off the bat, because Smith was let go yesterday, I think it does elevate the possibilities. Khalil Mack does sign with the Detroit Lions. A bunch of you guys reached out to me yesterday. I know Anthony reached out to me and a bunch of people reached out and said, hey, what do you think about trading for Trey Hendrickson? I think that's off the board at this point. I could find out later today that's not the case. The Lions make a trade for him. It's my anticipation he's going to be re-signed by the Bengals. Trey Hendrickson's going to be re-signed by the Bengals, to get the contract extension he wants, and the Lions don't have to give up any draft capital. I think more and more it's looking like the Lions are going to focus on the draft to build up their defensive and offensive line, and I don't have a problem with it. That's what Brad Holmes wants to do. They're going to do it. But that's also why I think Mack or somebody similar could be the play in free agency. If he doesn't get a massive contract for somebody early in free agency, every day that goes by, his asking price is going to have to come down if he wants to be employed in the NFL. I think Mack on a 1-year contract, maybe 2 years at the most, makes sense because whatever rookie you bring in, you're using them as a rotational guy with Davenport or Mack or whatever. I think Mack still has enough gas in the tank to be effective on a rotational part. You probably also know that Von Miller was released after 3 seasons with the Buffalo Bills. I know some of you guys reached out to me and asked if that's a possibility. Sounds like he's going to re-sign with the Bills just on a better, more team-friendly deal, I guess is what I could say. If the Lions wanted to go after him, I think it'd be kind of like the Mack situation. Could you bring him in on a rotational piece Absolutely. And I don't think any of us would be mad about it. But asking him to do, 80 or 90% of the defensive snaps per game is probably not legitimate for either Mack or Von Miller. They are getting a little older. But I think if you could keep them to 40 to 50% of the snaps and more situational, now you got something. All right, next prediction I've got for you guys. Carlton Davis, unfortunately, I've got him going to the Jaguars. It's everything I'm getting is that the Jaguars want him and want him now. They're trying to rebuild faster than probably some other teams. And having a stud corner like Carlton Davis, who's come out and kind of said in the last 24 hours, he kind of misses warmer weather, Florida weather, I think is actually as he termed it. So I do think it would make sense from him from a personal standpoint, let alone a financial standpoint. I still am holding out hope that we can keep him. But if we can't, you know what? I wish him well. Hopefully he does well there. And yes, it would probably open up the window for the Lions to go after somebody else in free agency. I also have that Kevin Zeitler in my predictions for this next week. Kevin Zeitler will return to the team. I've got him getting probably about an $8.5 million deal, maybe somewhere right around there. It could be $7 million, $8 million, or whatever, but somewhere in that range. He's going to get a boost. It's probably going to be a one-year deal. It probably will be his final year in Detroit. So is he going to be a long-term answer? No, but he does provide the Lions some time and opportunity to address that position this year to get it ready for next year. So I really like the guy. I hope we can keep him. I also have the Lions making one other move on the defensive side of the ball. Lions signed, and I always kill his name, so don't hate me, former Giant Azeez Ojulari. You guys know he's a Brad Holmes type fit, guy with a ton of potential, but a ton of injury history. He can set an edge. He's good on against the run. He's got a lot of stuff that if he wasn't injured, he would be getting paid by some organization. My personal opinion, you're probably getting him on a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year option, probably looking somewhere around $10 million, maybe $12 million, somewhere in that range for the deal. So just say 6 or so a year. All right, and then Levi Onwuzurike gets his best deal by staying with the Detroit Lions. I do think this is a win-win situation for both parties. If this holds water, man, the Lions really don't have much needs. If all this goes down, I guess you could say cornerback and then draft would probably be the biggest ones. But Onwuzurike, I think he's going to return to the Detroit Lions. I think other teams will make him offers, but I think when it's all said and done, when you look at who he is as a person, what the Lions did for him, I think that's going to make the difference between a couple bucks more that another team might throw his way versus what the Lions can give him. Probably a 2 to 3 year deal, sort of like I was saying with the prior player, Azeez Ojulari. I think it'll be a 2-year deal, 3rd-year option for the team. And then as far as the dollar amount, that's the part I'm not 100% sure, but probably close to the 10 to 14 million range. That's my guess at least. Now, with all that being said, I also have some bad news for you guys. I do think you're going to be saying goodbye to some other guys, not just Za'Darius Smith. I think Craig Reynolds, this is probably his, last season was probably his last year here. I think John Kaminsky will not be retained by the team. I do think Dan Skipper's on his way out. I talked about it earlier this offseason. It's my anticipation that Giovanni Manu is going to assume that role and maybe even potentially a little bit more playing time for him with the offensive line. Maybe Kobe Scoresdale does too, but I think both those guys are ascending. I think Dan Skipper, while a great guy, I'm probably going to have to replace him in the opening intro because I think they're going to move on from him just from a cost standpoint, age standpoint. And then the last one, I'm not really happy about this one, but I get why. That would be Khalif Raymond, also probably on his final days here with the Detroit Lions. Maybe I'm wrong with some of these, but I do think a few of these guys will not be back come next year. Then if I am correct, to a couple more here, then we'll get to your guys' comments. If Carlton Davis does sign somewhere else, I do think the Lions are going to go after Charvarius Ward, the former number 1 cornerback for a couple different teams. I think he'll come on in. The Lions are going to need somebody to step on in. I don't know if he'll be the number 1 corner here, but he'll be in the starting rotation or, on the field. I think Terrion Arnold may ascend to that spot. Yes, I've got that kind of belief in him. Ward could be the number 1 guy. I guess that'll be a training camp battle for sure to see who's number 1 and 2. But either way, they'll be good there if that goes down. He's looking to leave, California, looking for a new start, I guess you could say. So I think the Lions are going to be an ideal situation for him. The last one I've got for you guys is that Darius Slade does return to the Detroit Lions. I think, Philadelphia is not going to be the spot. Lions need somebody who's a little bit of a veteran, kind of a mentorship for a lot of the younger corners that we do have, Terrion Arnold, Enos Rakestraw, etc., amongst anybody they may draft this year. And Slade just seems to be that guy. I think he'd be another coach on the field. I think he would be an upgrade in a lot of spots, and I know I've talked about this for a while this offseason. I think he would assume the Iffy Melifano role. So that's what I've got for things to look for this week. Could there be some other people? Could Chase Young be a person of interest? I think from a personality standpoint, not the guy I would go for, but from an athletic standpoint, probably cost standpoint, could be someone definitely for sure. Tim Patrick's another person I hope we can bring back. I just think the Lions with John Morton on offense, they're going to look for somebody maybe a little bit faster down, to stretch the defense vertically down the field. All right, Duke Crew, let's get over to you guys, see what you all have to say. Let me scroll to the top of the screen. We got a bit of a show this morning and go for that. Moving on up to the top of the comment section to a deluxe apartment in the sky. All right, Mike the Marine Gunny. Howdy, Dan and Duke Crew. Today's start, let's make a deal. Woo, good to see you, Gunny. It feels like it's been a minute since I've seen you, Gunny. Maybe I'm wrong. For some reason in my mind, it just feels like it's been a day or so. JDC, morning all, back at you. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. All hands on deck, exclamation point. Woo, same to you, my friend. Moonscar, good morning, Duke Crew. Starting lineup, exclamation point. Tampering away, maybe sign somebody who is less injury prone in the next 2 days. Man, wouldn't that be something if Brad Holmes signed somebody to a contract that had no injury history? Doesn't sound like something that will happen, but you never know. Marcus, good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Happy free agency frenzy Monday. Yes, it is, man. And hey, turn those notifications on because whether it's from me or somebody else or the Twitterverse or whatever, notifications will be flying all around later today. Trey, what's good, Duke Crew? Question mark. I am not a fan of daylight savings time. Laughing out loud. Holmes has to be looking at bringing someone in, right? I would think so. I think it wasn't just about dollars, although $12 million for Za'Darius, if that's right, $10-12 million, that is a bit for someone who is producing like he was. I do think the Lions are going to look to make some additions. Clark, good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. I think Smith returns to us, but on a lesser contract if no one else overpays the man. Yeah, I'd say that's about right. I think everybody seems to like him. His production wasn't, horrible by any stretch. It's just, I think his days of being a full-time starter for a team are probably over, but a nice rotational piece, I think he can do that. Moonscar Blade, no one is Trey. I don't know why our government won't abolish the Arctic law. Yeah, it's time for change, not change the time. I'm down with that. John, Chief Brad, today is your day to cook. Can I get a woo? You want a woo? I'll give you a woo. 1, 2, and 3. It is his day to cook up a fine meal for us. Big Eddie, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. If Brad Holmes holds true to the past, we won't sign anyone the first few days unless it's really a need. Maybe Wednesday or Thursday we get something. Yeah, I think you're looking towards middle later in the week for the Lions. That is typically what Brad Holmes does as far as signing players, or unless we're going to re-sign some of our own. If Kevin Zeitler decides to return to Detroit or just not retire or whatever, I think you could get that today or tomorrow. All right, Trey. Yeah, Moon. I just say keep the time the same or year round. Yeah, I think a lot of people are pushing for that. Tori, a lot of NFL teams already making some moves over the weekend. Yes, they were. Man, you had Adams signing with the Rams? Minnesota got Cup. I mean, all sorts of moves were going on, and the word seems to be, or at least the thought process seems to be, that Aaron Rodgers is going to go to Tennessee. I guess I could see that happening. Maybe a renaissance for his career for a year or two, but definitely not a long-term answer for the Titans. Argus, Brad Holmes is up to something. I can feel it. I think we're all anticipating that. Moonscar, I vote for the time. It is now. Keep it light out later. Yeah, I'll go with that. Henry, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. Exclamation point. What a team. What a podcast. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! Go Lions, 100%. And it's going to be a big week for the Lions. Marcus, Big Eddie, I agree. Jess, greetings, salutations. He has to be, right? Marcus had to free up some money to do something. Smith wasn't bad. Good locker room guy, too. Yeah, no personality issues with him. All right, Five Fingers Freddy, good morning. Can't wait to see what we do. Hope we keep some more of our own guys. That would seem to be the Brad Holmes way. We drafted you. We brought you in. We're going to try to re-sign you. So I would agree with that, 100%, Five. All right, James, what do you got? Let's see, Brad Holmes and MCDC sing platitudes on Za'Darius Smith and how good he is, and that the Lions were bringing him back only to lie to him and release him. Yeah, I do think it was weird because to your point, James, well, I'd say it was like a month ago. They're saying, yeah, he's not going anywhere. And then obviously something changed. Why that is, I don't know, but they have to have a thought process. I know some other people have already put it in the comment section. I'll just say this. I won't be surprised if he resigns with the team in the next week or two or something, probably just on a lesser contract. Quentin, greetings, salutations, y'all. I bet Z Smith back here in a week. Yeah, could be. Marcus, wants Za'Darius Smith sign with the Bears to complete his goal of playing for every team in the NFC North. Man, would that be something? And how many players can actually say that in NFL history? I played for every team in that particular division. James, I don't like liars, and both MC, DC, and DG, Brad Holmes lied to the players and to us, the fans who watched them over the years. It's not the best look for him, for sure. I'll agree with you there. So small. I doubt we signed Reddick, maybe Mack or someone like that on the cheap. Yeah, every day that goes by, and some of the more veteran players who haven't signed somewhere in the opening salvo of free agency, their price tags will go down because that's a sign nobody's jumping at the bits to get you. Marcus Gamer, the revenge tour, I'll go with that. Stephanie, good morning, boys! Exclamation point. Good luck tonight, Coach. Thank you for that. From the final 32 teams into the Sweet 16. If I get done in time, I'm heading over. Not very far from you. No. Byron Center is not far from you. I want to thank you for any stretch of the imagination. Let's see, Henry Moore. My ancestors rose with the sun and slept when it went down. The natural order of things. I don't like daylight savings time. Yeah, I know some people are not a fan of it by any means. Voltron, what about signing Zeitler? Any word? The only thing I got is just that it's still on the table. He hasn't ruled it out, but he also hasn't ruled out retirement either. JC, greetings, salutations, Dukru, back at you. Moonscar, holding judgment on the Za'Darius Smith cut for now. He wants more guaranteed money. Cutting his $5.7 million costs nothing. No dead cap. Brad Holmes can work the contract to spread the cap hit if they want him. Yeah, well, I hope they do bring him back. I do like the guy. Silver Server, good morning, Coach Evan. Same to you. Just say K. A lot of us are upset about cutting Smith, but I trust in Holmes. He's done a heck of a job with the team. Keep the faith. Yeah, 100%. Keep the faith always. Vincent E., good morning, Coach Dan and Dooku. Same to you. Pat Rock, I agree. Moonscar Blade, I like the guy, but I also read his full contract this season could have reached $12 million. Yeah, somewhere around there, I think, with incentives, et cetera, et cetera. Dave Bing, what up, Duke Crew? Let the money rain down. It will be raining across many different players this week. Vincent E., Brad Holmes has to have something in the works, right? I would think so. I agree with that. Silver Server, Zaboom gone. Go figure. Gave them a 5th and 6th. They did, but obviously they feel that one thing I would learn, just in life, if you don't like the deal you just made, don't ride it out just because you made the deal. It's okay to be wrong. It's just not okay to stay wrong. Maybe that's a good way to word it. Nine Drace, good morning, Duke Crew, and same to you. Marcus, I project Trey Hendrickson resigns with the Bengals for a crazy extension, similar to Max and Garrett's new deal. It's funny, all these guys that kind of mentioned they wanted to trade, go somewhere else. You got those contracts. Maybe I don't need to go anywhere. But it is a business and it is a career. I get that. Leonard, good morning, Coach, and the awesome Duke Crew. Holmes is restructuring Smith and adding pieces. I think just to complete with the NFC. I'll go with that. One Brian, good morning, and happy tampering period. All 100%. Let the free agency begin. It's like a fantasy football week. Everybody, who are you trying to get? Who are you going to get, etc. James Allen, how do you know they lied? Question mark. I never heard that they said Z would not be released. There were rumors of such a few weeks ago. There was some speculation that it could go down, and at the end of the day, it did go down. Manbear, good morning, Dan Lops and Scooby-Doo Crew, and back at you. Trey, good luck today, Coach. Get that W. We're going to give it a go. If we can score one more point than the other team, I like our chances. Leonard, I'll Becca season ticket holder too. Okay. Let's see, proud cheer dad. Morning, everyone, and back at you. JDC getting real in the D. Go Lions. Big D, morning, Duke Crew. What the heck? Why is Za'Darius gone? I guess to save money. That would be my thought. Pierce, anyone else perplexed by Za'Darius Smith? A lot of raised eyebrows right now and a lot of questions being asked. But let's wait and see what shakes out. Maybe there's a plan in place. We're just not privy to it. Keith, good morning and greetings, salutations. Dan and the Duke Crew, exclamation point, go Lions. Good morning to you too, my friend. Pierce, Marcus, that would be $200 million for 4 guys. Yeah, it could be. JDC, looks like Z Factor has been factored out, at least for now. How about that? Let's see, Brian Thomas. Good morning, Dan, and the world famous Duke crew. And same to you. Hopefully you're having a great start to your day. Manuel, he's not going to pull the trigger. He's going to wait for the draft. It could be that for sure, 100%. I get it. Brad Holmes believes in the draft. They draft well. You could debate the defensive line draft picks. Maybe some of them turn things around this season. Wait and see what shakes out. Coach Sonny K. Hey, Duke crew and Coach, my heart is really broken over Za'Darius. Do you think they're up to something juicy? I think they've got something in play. We all get it. They need more help on pass rush. Za'Darius Smith, maybe he wasn't the greatest, but he wasn't bad. And I would think if nothing else for a rotational guy, he's pretty good. I also get the opposite side of that, though. If he's going to be a rotational guy, do you really want to be on the hook to him for 8, 10, 12 million, whatever the number end up being? Chris, I really hope we get Hendrickson, then grab Kenneth Grant in the draft. I think our defense will be top 5 for sure. I'll go with that. Yeah, and I won't be upset if they get any of those guys. Jim, good luck tonight, Coach. Win, baby. That's the plan, and thank you very much for that. Man, the Commanders and Dan Quinn want Trey Hendrickson. It seems like a lot of teams want him, but I get it. Guy's got some talents. Byron, re-signing Marcus was wow, and releasing Za'Darius was wild. Yes, it's got everybody questioning some things right now. Central Scrutinize, good morning. Good Monday morning, Coach and Duke crew. Same to you. Courtney, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke crew. Woo! And even back at you, Ken. Morning, Duke crew. Woo! Leonard, good luck today, Coach. Get that W. We're gonna try. We're gonna try like hard. Jess, explain to me Smith release question. How is the team better releasing him and keeping Davenport and Barnes? I think it just, in my guess, and that's all it is, a guess, is just a cost move. William, greetings, salutations. Good luck tonight, Coach. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Morrell. And the free agency period begins. Let's see what Holmes has in stock. Yes, we'll see what the Home Depot has in stock. Holmes Depot, how about that? 9 Drinks, breaking news. Lions are trading Hooker for Hendrickson. Maybe. We'll find out later today, maybe, or this week. Manuel Smith was in somebody's doghouse. Maybe, but I don't know why if he would have been. Seems like everybody seemed to like him here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed something. JDC, that head is not shaved. There's hair there. Yes, it is. Jen did give a ruling yesterday, since we've got to go to like a family member of hers wedding in a couple weeks. Said they could only take it down to like a 3-guard or 4-guard, whatever she gave me. She's like, this is small. It can go because he got 2 weeks to grow it back. All right, Keith. Z Smith, exclamation point. I know it was all about the money, but Brad, bring Z-Man right back. I hope they do, man. I hope they do. Gary, greetings, salutations, Duke crew. Can't wait to see Brad flips everything. All the people who said fire Brad are going to feel that squat. He's the best GM we've had ever since I've been a fan. Shame on you for fair weather fans. Yes, I think he has been the best GM, at least in my lifetime. I mean, in the 90s, we weren't bad. The problem with the 90s was there was such a division between front office and coaching staff. Couldn't get everybody on the same page. Thomas, I think releasing Smith is not that bad. I'll go with that. One Funky, Reddick, and Mack are being said to be linked to Detroit. That's weird. I was told that Landry is too small, not by Dan, but other people said it to me. Yeah, it happens, man. I mean, I get their prototypical end is probably around 260, 270 or more pounds with some wheels. I get also that Haason Reddick is not that guy. I don't know, man. We'll wait and see. We do have a new defensive coordinator, so maybe they are going to change some things. Thomas, please don't claim Mac. I'll take him off the list for you, man. Jess, Green Bay is rumored to Trey Hendrickson. It seems like a lot of people are rumored to him. Moonscar, funny that I didn't see any hair shaving pics on the Facebook post this morning. The girls must have loved that. They did shoot a video. What social media, posts they put it on her page, I don't know, man. I know they shot a video of it, though. JDC, it's all about the cash, probably. Manuel, Mac is heavy with the Bears and Falcons. Might be true. Brian, cheap butts. This will not make players want to come here because they can be cut at any time. Yeah, it's. I would say yes. There's some truth to that. Thomas, the Commanders are going all in for Trey Hendrickson. Let them go all in. And if they're going to beat us out for them, they beat us out. Jess, give them skyrocketing contracts. Smith's deal was a bargain. Yeah, that's also a very good point. The Central Scrutinizer. It's all about the cap. Z's contract, $6 million, dead cap in 26. Freed up about $11 million in total to release him. All right, thank you for that. Ken R, Big D, Garrett resigned with the Browns. Don't understand the moves. I am excited to find out. Yes, we're all anticipating right now what's going to happen. Pierce, Dollar General. There we go. Let's see, Ken, Reed, Landry, Header, Ing. All right. Brian, trade Brad Holmes to the Bears, please. All right. We'll put him on the list, see what they'll give us for him. Henry Moore, I think Smith was okay, not great. It didn't break my heart to let him go. It seems like some people either loved him or you're kind of in the middle on him. Doesn't seem like anybody hated him. But, hey, we'll see what they have planned. Pierce, Ken Ross, you would be correct. Craig, Coach, your thoughts on getting Hendrickson in a trade? 2nd and 4th round picks, maybe? I would do it because we haven't gotten better since now, and it looks like we're losing Carlton Davis. I would say this, Craig. If it was me, I would trade for him. I don't know if I'd give up a 2nd and 4th, but I'd probably give up like a 3rd and 6th or something like that. But you are going to have to give him a new contract. He's been clear about that. Whether or not that's a Brad Holmes move, man, I don't know. But then again, what Brad Holmes would do and what I would do are two different things. All right, Pierce, any more is still better than Davenport? I concur. Thomas, can we let Brad just do his thing? We are letting him. We don't have a choice. I mean, even if you like him or dislike him, we have no say in the matter. Southwest, what did Davenport do? He didn't do much. He was hurt again. Nobody was on the line. Was Za'Darius? If that story if he got hurt again, I'm a B. You'll be less than happy. I'll go with that. Yeah, I think now that we have the numbers on Davenport, his contract is pretty dang cheap. I mean, it's under $2 million. It's hard to find anything in the NFL and free agency for that level. Jess, how do these contracts coming up help these general managers build team depth? These contracts will outlive the GM and the players. I'll go with that. Manuel, Trey, Mac, Noah, Landry coming. All right, fair enough. One funky. Some Packers fans I have talked to said that Smith always starts the season playing well, but by playoffs slows down. He was said before he came to Detroit. Yeah, I mean, he did okay in Detroit. I think the idea with him is that if you can make him more of a rotational guy so he wouldn't wear down, maybe he could be more productive later in the season. Thomas Mack is 34 years old. He's not the youngest guy out there for sure. Big D, it's not the money I'm worried about. It's the roster spot. Okay. Brian, Trey Hendrickson won't be coming now. He knows he'll be cut next year. Maybe, man. I mean, a lot of that comes down to the terms within your contracts. I mean, even if you were to get cut, depending on the structure of your contract, you could still be getting paid. Thomas Hendrickson definitely not coming here. Just CD wants his back. Don't see him coming back if that is his motivation to sign his new contract. All right. Chris, he can play if he takes a pay cut. There we go. Any more? Pierce, true age and still don't live up to the hype. Okay. Craig, we need a splash now, and the defense needs the help, or we have too many injury-prone players. Just getting Hendrickson and possibly G.J. Reader would be great signings. All right, we'll see if we can get them. Thomas don't want Carlton Davis either. Dude literally averaged 11 games a year. 11, yeah. He's been injured the last few years. Maybe you can get him. Maybe you can get somebody healthier. I don't know, man. I think the same can be said for Hendrickson, which is why he won't be lying. 5 extension is too much for dollar store Holmes. I'll go with that. Duncan, cornerback 1 will be the free agent splash, whoever Brad deals with. Okay, Thomas, like Brad Holmes said before, we are not trying to win the offseason headlines. Yeah, he's Thomas, you're 100% right. He's been consistent with that over his time here in Detroit. Chris, have faith, Lions fans. We got this far. We have gotten this far. Duncan, Brad will get us the number 1 cornerback. No worries over here. Just let Brad do his work. And I will let him do the work. Malcolm Coons is 28 years old and has tremendous upside. Thomas, I agree, and I think you've been on that this week. Jess, if Zeitler hasn't resigned by now, he is going to Chicago for his bag or just retiring. Could be indeed. Who knows? I don't know the guy personally, so hard for me to say. Manuel, he's not going to get a free agent cornerback. Okay, Big D, I have faith. I'm just super confused, laughing out loud, excited but confused. There's probably a lot of truth to both sides of that statement there, Big D. Duncan Zeitler will be back. I hope so, man. I'm predicting he's going to be back. JDC, Detroit Lions rebuilding since 1957. Stay tuned to Coach Dan and Lions Talk Live for more updates. Go Lions. Thank you very much for that. And yes, I'll try to keep you guys updated. Thomas Zeitler is going to Chicago. They signed not going to Chicago. They signed Jackson and Turney. Yeah, they traded for both guys, I want to say. B-Love, Davenport will be injured after week 1. Might be. If history holds true, he probably will get injured. Brian, here we go on Reddick again. Brad could have got him last year, not Smith. Just terrible GM work. I'm starting to open my eyes to this stuff. Okay? Just not sure how Mac or Landry helped given the money they tied up. Yeah, and I don't know what contract they would get if either guy came here. Harold Landry, though, he's gone. He signed with somebody yesterday. Mack is still available. Brian, we will basically have the exact team as last year, well, plus whatever we draft. Correct. Thomas, Landry signed with the Patriots. Yeah, I knew it was somebody yesterday. I just couldn't remember who off top of my noggin. Frank Tank, Detroit Lions are free enough money to pay their own players and players they draft. Go Lions. Correct with that. Emmanuel, Reddick isn't coming either. Might not be. Frank Tank, Reddick is not coming to Detroit. Fans have been talking about this for 3 years now. All right. Brad spending habits has kept more than the core players here. Keep on cooking, Brad. Someone will go with that. I'm going with that. J.K. Houston is gone. He is gone. He was also released or not tendered a new offer by the Cleveland Browns, so he's a free agent. JDC, Puff, woo, coffee, and Lions Talk Live. Great start to your morning, I would hope. Jess, Holmes believes in volume over quality. I'm looking at the mediocre free agent signings. Okay. Pierce, I'm just concerned about Brad Holmes' decision-making, not hitting the panic button, but I do have questions that need to be answered. Well, stay tuned this week. We're probably all going to get some answers across the NFL. Thomas, if anything, Zeitler is going to the Vikings, we'll find out. Keith, Brad, I hope you are trying to get Trey Hendrickson. Wait and see what you are up to. We need to have the best D-line in the NFL to be 14-3, Super Bowl bound. Woo! I'm down with that. Just forever looking for a bargain. Hey, yes, he is, man. He's always kicking those things over, looking for a bargain. All right, just prepare to be underwhelmed. That's probably also true. Pierce, Gary, what is that? The Eagles have had their best of both worlds, just saying. Yes, they have. You're wondering why Brad can't follow that playbook? We'll find out. Thomas, why would anybody want to be traded for Hendrickson, who's 30 years old, and he will cost draft capital and $30 million a year? I will find out why. Manuel, going to have to wait 2 years for the Super Bowl? Okay. Frank Ting, do not jinx your team. Your team needs to fix your hair. Yeah, I'll get that fixed here in a little bit here. Let's see, the shop opens at 9 o'clock. I'll go over there before the market's open real quick. Only take like 5 minutes to get it cut. JDC, Coach, have the girls clear cut your hair. Yeah, this is as much as they're going to cut it, man. I'm going to trust them with that, and that's about it. Free agency week is here, JK. I agree. Just trying doesn't count for anything. Trying doesn't win any games. Hey, you got to try to win, though. If you don't try, you won't win. Kurt Steele, what up, Dill? What's up, man of Steel? Thomas, I swear the fan base is in panic mode. Yeah, sometimes that's true. Pierce, Kurt Steele, the man I was waiting for. What do you think of Zeke Cut? All right, we'll find out what he thinks. Avery, greetings, Duke Crew. How much money has Garrett made throughout his entire career? Because he chose money and losing over possibly being a Super Bowl winner. Is what it is. He made that choice, and he's gonna take it to the bank, I guess. Pierce Thomas, on my end, not panic mode, but has some questions for sure. Yeah, I'd say that's fair. Probably a lot of fans have questions. JDC, I ain't scared. Go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Jess, all these starting stars requesting trades seem to be only plays to extend huge money deals. Yes, it does seem like it was a play to get a bigger contract for all of them. Thomas, how did the Lions winning offseason headlines work out for us in the past? It is what it is. It's the offseason. You get all sorts of news and notes. Frank Tank, they cannot afford these big names if they want to keep this awesome team together. Yeah, if they want to keep the team together, probably can't have too many big contracts. Manuel, it's a business just like us at work, it's about the cash, 100%. At the end of the day, they ain't making money. If they ain't putting a product on the field that creates money, they probably aren't in a good way. Pierce, Frank, Tank, how did Philly do it? They drafted. They drafted and drafted more. JDC, Trio Destiny, tick, tick, tick. It's one day closer. Thomas, the Smith release makes perfect sense. Look at the Pride of Detroit article. Fair enough. Vincent E., have the Lions ever won an offseason? Even if you win the offseason, what does that get you? That's my question. Pierce, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Slay, C.J., all mega deals and paid almost every offensive lineman. Too true. Let's see. P-Wog, comp pick for Fisk gone? I don't believe so. Jess, what do you got? Who's talking about winning in the offseason? Fans just want a free agent who is not coming off an injury. All right, that might be true. Kim, Jess, if following, you're not leading. Brad Holmes is a true leader with a vision. You just don't know what the full story is yet. Yeah, that could be it too. We don't know all that he's got planned yet. Just defensive line needs help. I'll go with that. Davenport contract is essentially $1.8 million. Yeah, right around there, Thomas. Keith, I trust Brad Holmes with the draft. If he is going to build the defense line through the draft, so be it. Go Lions, 14-3, and Super Bowl bound. I like it. I like the positive thought. Frank, Tank, Phillies, been there before. He's going to Detroit Lions. You can play asking me how did the Lions do it. They are ready to go. I'll go with that. Emmanuel, Brad Vision is due enough to keep his job. Maybe. Gary, Pierce Husband, let me see what how they keep everything. I'll go with that. Trump's, woo, damn, it's early. It is like 7:45 a.m. Kurt Steele, Pierce, I'll break it down on my show at 8 along with story short. He was a cap casualty. Yeah, I'd say that's right. Michael, what do you got? And for the trifecta, Brad resigns Emmanuel Mosley, perfect fit, injured and old. I'm losing trust in the process. You know, I think Emmanuel Mosley's time in the NFL has probably come to a close. That's my guess. Pierce, Chris Steele, can you drop me a link? On Pride, I hope Zeitler resigns. I don't think Holmes didn't look at free agent guys that produce. Zeitler and CD3 balled out. Understand the Barnes deal, but I'm not going to say Davenport moves the needle. All right, fair enough. Thomas, the Lions will definitely take a step back this year. Unfortunately, the schedule is tough and way too much turnover in the coaching staff. Okay. Pierce, Kurt Steele. Also, don't we have like $55 million cap right around there? I don't know what the updated numbers are, though, after some of these signings. Frank Tank, Detroit Lions are not Philadelphia. They will win a different way. Too true? All right, Derek, the Raiders, Rams, Steelers, Eagles, DC, Chicago, and the 49ers are on fire. As far as the offseason, we'll see how that works out for them. JK, Goodwill, Glasses, Brad, okay. Thomas, Carlton Davis played 10 games again, all right. Courtney, Nick Gordon, Texas Aggies, Dan Campbell's alma mater. I do like him. I do like him a lot. There's a lot of upside to him, I believe. Thomas, Carlton Davis sneezes and gets hurt. Okay. Pierce, Thomas, he missed, I believe, 3 to 4 games, including the broken jaw. Yes, the broken jaw did take him down for a while. Central Scrutinizer, Brad doesn't change how he does his business. Why do you folks get jumpy? Question mark. If you haven't learned anything about Brad in his tenure, you're not paying attention. I'll go with that. JDC, Dre Forge rocks, and he rolls. All right, guys, there's about 13 minutes left. I'm going to go through the comment section, try to catch up a little bit, and look for people that maybe haven't been on the chat as much. JK, Bifocals, Goodwill, Lens, Brad, maybe. Frank Tank, fans, we need to think about it. Look at all these other teams losing. All these players, Detroit Lions are not losing anybody. They will be number 1 team in the NFL. Go Lions. So here's what I'll just say. Just step in real quick and at least give my thoughts. Brad Holmes has a plan. Yeah, and I get we all want the big headline. Man, that's going to take us over the top and everything. But I can also say I've been a Detroit Lions fan for 40-plus years. I've seen this team just be absolutely terrible. And we can all say as fans, we're no longer terrible, right? We're near the top of the NFL. We might not always agree with what Brad Holmes does or doesn't do, but at this, what we can say is he's gotten us here. So, I mean, maybe cut the guy a little slack. Just aside from the Stafford trade, when has Holmes wowed the fans with a trade? All right, we'll find out. I would say this. He traded down from 6 to 12 and got Gibbs and Laporta because of that trade. So you traded Carter for 2 all-pro players. Gary, Coach, you remind me of a young Barrett's. Okay, I'll go with that. JK, 3 words in his race. Fair enough. Let's see, Thomas. Pierce, Thomas. All good this season. Health was much better. Okay. Thomas, Davis wants $20 million a year is laughable. Could be true. Mike, goodbye, Za'Darius. Yes, I liked the guy, but they decided to move on. They moved on. Thomas, oh, that's for sure. If we get him for 14, I am happy. I think a lot of us would be happy if that happens. Salvador Arnold on the clock because too many rookies outdid him, so I'm keeping a close eye on him the upcoming season. I would say this. I don't know of any rookies that outdid him, at least in my opinion. But also you have to look at the schemes they're in. If you're talking about the 2 corners for Philadelphia, well, how much were they assisted by the front 4 that Philadelphia had? If those corners would have been in Detroit, would they have been as good as Arnold? That's what I try to break down, and I'm not so sure either one of them would have been better than Terry and Arnold. That's my opinion, though. Chase Younger signed with New Orleans. I read somewhere. Could be. I haven't really paid attention. Mike K, how bad is U of M basketball? Not sure. Haven't paid attention. Pierce, Chris Steele, just a sub. Thanks, dude. No worries. Manuel, Frank, tank one more time in the playoffs, and players will start to leave. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, last year, yes, they did not play well in the playoffs. The year before, hey, man, they won 2 games and nearly won a third. So I guess you could say you've had one disappointing playoff game. And I don't think that's got anything to do with players wanting to leave. So that's my personal opinion. All right, Kim, I'd rather win games than be wild with a trade. Okay, I would agree with you from a coaching standpoint or even a fan standpoint. Gary, Coach, you remind me of young Robert Blake. I'll take that. Pierce, Keith, because there is Z is gone for him. Okay, Chris. Hey, Brian, Brad's built this team from nothing. He did. He had nothing when he started. Chris, why get rid of him? That's a great question. JDC, the Lions locomotive is still lumbering down the line to the Super Bowl. Go Lions. JK, rip the World War Z. I'll go with that. Thanks, Pierce. Emmanuel, locomotive is going to have to wait 2 years. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll wait and see how next year plays out. JDC, oh, yeah. Oh, no. Okay. Chris Fuller, this draft class is deep. We will be okay. I bet we make a trade move up. That is something I think I could see us happening and doing 100%. Angie, how can I watch your game tonight online? You go to Huddle or NFSH, something like that. But you do have to pay for a subscription. Ryan, I want to come back to a team that cut me to skip my bonus. Brad is cheap and will always be that way. Okay. Chris, on defense, the Manual not getting a Super Bowl in the next 2 years. Fair enough. JDC, Magic 8 Ball says defense wins the big one. I like the way you're thinking. Thomas, the only thing I see with Brad is that he falls in love with too many of his draft picks. Maybe true. JK, defensive end is getting too expensive like eggs. Oh, that might be a lot of truth to that. Thomas, I just want for the Levi extension today, the fans will be really perplexed. I like Levi Onwuzurike. I hope they do get him back. Coach Tony K, they wanted a lesser contract. I heard from another podcaster, and Z wasn't going for it. And then I guess you had to make a choice if you're the team. Let's see. Brian, Dan says this will be the best Lions team ever. My money's on no way. I think it will be the deepest Lions team ever in my lifetime. Now, of course, a lot of that depends on who they draft, how they develop. I just can't think of a team that in recent years, or at least the last 40 years, that comes to my mind that has the potential this upcoming one does. They got to stay healthy. They do have to get another good draft class, I think. All right. Coach Rock, what do you got? Good morning. All just hoping there's a backdoor deal for Smith, and the deal will be feel great about patience is a virtue, and good luck tonight, Coach. Hope up to the kids now. You've given them all they need to win. Hey, we watched tons of video on the other team. We broke down their plays, their blobs, their slobs. That's baseline out of bounds, sidelines out of bounds. We've identified their top 8 players that they used in rotations. I mean, I spent all weekend breaking down, personality traits. This kid's right-handed, left-handed. Watch this move, watch that move. At the end of the day, though, Coach, at the end of the day, there comes a point where, you only have so much control. That's probably what I can say. Chris, any of your Brad haters or fake Lions fans, this is the best Lions team since Brad and Dan took over. At least we aren't the Browns. This is also true. You gotta remember, just half a decade ago, this team was not very good. All right, Pat, love the show. Watch every morning. Go Lions. Thanks for that. Thank you very much, and hopefully you're having a great start to your day. JK, I forgot we gave up picks for Za'Darius. Jeez, it happens, man. Hey, here's what I'd say about a bad investment coming from a stock guy. You figure out it's a bad investment, move on as quick as you can and move on to the next thing. I like Za'Darius Smith, but if you felt, or the Lions felt, I should say, that the contract was one they didn't want to keep, then the faster you move on from it, the better you can, quicker you can recover. Kevin, interesting weekend. I've been off grid trying to catch up. Hey, catch on up, my friend. Get back into it. See, Pierce Davenport probably going down after 6 games. Levi will go down as per usual unless the Jets take him. We'll find out. Earl, Brad has a plan? I would think so. I trust in Brad Holmes, man. Thomas, we also swapped picks for Smith, so we didn't lose draft picks. We swapped draft capital in later rounds. Yeah, we changed positions in the draft. Still have the same amount, I believe. Coach, win? Yes, that is the plan, my friend. Thank you for that. Chris, I agree. Frank, Keith, win tonight, Coach, and have a great day. Thank you very much for that. Pierce, Kevin, tag, the trades have happened. Yeah, they have. The trades have happened. Kurt Steele, my wife has me at Walmart picking up a grocery order, heading home to talk to you guys at 8. We'll see you then, my friend. JK, poaching and tampering week at least till Wednesday, right? Yeah, 100%. But let's be honest, it all starts today. Just some of the moves won't finalize till later in the week. Let's see, Vern, Coach, are we let go Villader? We still need secondary help. I think they're going to make some moves for the secondary for sure. Kevin, otherwise, why do you release Za'Darius Daddy? Z Daddy? That I'm not sure. I'm guessing it's just to make some adjustments to the salary cap, but that's the only thing I could think of. He seems like he was good otherwise. Anymore, I do believe it's all about the money. Yeah, I would agree with you there, man. I think Brad's counting on Rakeshaw to rake this year. Let's hope so. Time to buy silver. Go with what you want. Did I say government? I thought we weren't allowed to talk politics. Did you? I don't know. Maybe I missed your comment of yours. Chris, laughing out loud. Thomas, I agree. We got some flip-floppers in here. We'll find out. JDC, Thomas, Ronald, smiling, thumbs up. Josh, trade for John Allen to Detroit by today, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think he's going to get released, Josh. I could be wrong about Allen, but if he does get released, I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions considered him, although he might be a little pricey for him. We'll find out, man. Michigan Panther Pride, I made it. Good morning, Coach Dan and the Dew Crew. Back at you. Coach Rock, Brad needs to win a playoff headlines if he doesn't want to win the offseason headlines. Get over the top player. Yes, get somebody to push you over the top. I'm down with that. Phil, good morning. Back at you. Just draft the best defensive end available. I think that might be what they do. Thomas, this draft is full of studs on the defense line. As far as interior offensive line, I agree. The edge, I do think it's not as prevalent. Josh, any trade Detroit go after this week? Maybe. Thomas, if anything, the Lions need to consider revamping the left side of the offensive line with two declining players, Decker and Glasgow. I'll go with that. Hardy, what's up with this crybaby? Question mark. We won't get players because they will be afraid they will be cut. Good players get guaranteed money, and this happens every season for good teams like Kansas City. Yeah, players get cut all the time. If you're worried about getting cut, then you're probably not going to make it in the pros. Lost audio. I don't know. Nothing I can do about that. Let's see. Dan, stop going to the dentist for your haircuts. Yeah, cheap where you get them, right? Josh, traded for Trey Hendrickson to Detroit by today, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Could be. We'll find out. Brian, I see that some people never say Brad did anything bad. That's a slappy. Okay. Thomas, the funniest trade and incompetence is the front office was the Steelers trading for DK yesterday. We did speculate for a long time that Metcalf was going to get traded. It did go down. Hey, wish him well. Man, I would have loved to have him here, but I knew that ultimately at the end of the day, we're going to be able to pay both him, Jameson Williams, St. Brown, etc. Not all of it. All right, let's see. Thomas, defensive line, fixed draft Mike Green or Kenneth Grant. Maybe both if we can make it happen. Pierce, I do think questioning Brad is fair, but should he be fired? Of course not. I'll go with that. Yeah, that's probably fair. Thomas, Za'Darius is a decking player, guys, and only will get worse with age. The money doesn't justify the play. Okay, that could be a fair take. Brian, no way. This team will eventually stop trying as hard because the GM won't do enough to get a Super Bowl. All right. Phil, blobs and slobs, yeah. Baseline out of bounds, sideline out of bounds. Thomas, if Martin doesn't show up this preseason, dump him. Third year time to show up. Yeah, I would agree. If he doesn't really show some progression here this year, then you can probably say safely it didn't work out. Thomas, looks like Niners are adding Joey Bosa. It could be a dangerous defense line. We'll find out. Could be, could not be. I don't know. Trump's genius. Bosa will be on it by week 4. Yeah, on the IR. Okay. Yeah, and that's a fair comment too. Thomas, the Commanders are willing to move second-round pick for Trey Hendrickson and have plenty of money to extend him. Yeah, maybe let him do it. If that's what they're going to do, then they're going to let him do it. Chris, Z is older and wouldn't restructure his contract. We need to get younger on the defensive line. Fans need to realize players get cut, especially when your team is good and a contender. I'm down with that. Thomas, Chris Byard, facts. Pierce, Thomas Donner, very good point. Okay. Phil, there's a gut of edge rushers in the draft and free agency. Brad can find his guys. Yeah, it could be simply that. He feels like he can get similar or equal production at a cheaper price. Jonathan Allen's one big boy. He is not small. Thanks, PS. Got to solidify that defense line. I think you're right, Thomas. I agree with that fully. Trump's built to the draft. It does seem like the Brad Holmes way, don't it? Kerry, happy trails. We'll see you next time. Brian, 2 bad playoffs. Not just 1 games, 2 good ones. That's 50%. I'll go with that. Yeah, that's fair. Chris, Commanders release Jonathan Allen. Yes, I think that is correct. Motown, so glad DK is off the table. Did not need that kind of drama in the D. No, I agree with you there. Thomas, O-line, Glasgow must stay as backup only. We have his reply on the team. we have his play on the team and resign Zeitler if possible. I hope they do resign him. We already have his replacement. Thomas says Thomas down there. Agreed? Okay. All right, guys, I think I'm all caught up just in time to get you over to the Boss Up, Ball Out podcast. If there is some sort of breaking news today and I'm not coaching, I'll get it over to you as quick as possible. Before you check out, if you could do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for someone you don't know, and we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donations to the Reverend Moon? Jews for Jesus? Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism? Help Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology? Or nuclear power?